Hello, everybody. How you doing? I'm back streaming. It's been a while. It's been too long. It's been a very long time. I don't know when my last stream was. Actually, I could just check it, yeah, because we have Larastreamers, right? So, Larastreamers archive. Let me see, when was my last stream? I had one with Freek together last week, but I think this doesn't count. Yeah, so a lot of Steve here. Oh my god, I'm not on the first page, so this means it has been a long time. But yeah, nevertheless, I'm back. Um, I'm good. I hope you are too. Let's see who is already here. Laracon was great. Yes, indeed, it was amazing. It was just good being at a real conference again. So good. Real people, real speakers, real stage. Yeah, real fun, I'd say. Yeah, it was just so good. Gethian is here as well. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Long time no see. Hello from Trinidad and Tobago. Hello, Halim. How's it going? Quite far away you are. Great to have you here as well. Senye, hey, buddy, what's going on? Nathan with a new profile image. Hey, Nathan, what's going on? It's been some good weeks for the Reds, and yesterday especially. Jürgen, our friend, is staying for 2 more years. I think that's early Christmas present. Then we only need Salah and Mane to sign something new. So yeah, that's good. Hey Stefan, what's going on? It was so much fun seeing you as well. Is anybody else? Who's else here? Raphael. Hey buddy, what's going on? Freek here as well. That's good. Yeah, a lot of people here. Thank you for joining this stream. Yeah, as I mentioned, it's been a while. Let's see if I can still do this. Can I still do live streams? We will see. Let's hope the tech works. That's the most important thing. And yeah, so what's the plan for today? Let me first share here my screen with you. Here we go. Yes, the stream is called Time for a Refactor, and I wasn't sure exactly what we're going to do. I just knew that I wanted to talk about refactoring, but I also wanted to talk about readability of the code of Larastreamers. So that's overall the general plan, but I have a few notes here. Just for you, some things that I want to show you. We'll talk a little bit of some of the readability decisions we made for Larastreamers because I think we already did quite well here. So a few examples I want to show you, and then hopefully we also have some time to do some little refactorings in to make readability better for Larastreamers, even a little bit. Because overall, as I mentioned, I think Larastreamers is a really good code base. I think maybe it's the best code base which I made, especially with a lot of help. But because yeah, we spend a lot of time refactoring, changing stuff, and yeah, we tried to make it really good, and we thought about the little details which you probably don't have time or always have time in a real project. So I think that's also why I'm pretty proud of Larastreamers and the code itself, and especially that it's open source and everybody can just check it out. I think that's just amazing. Okay, so currently we are live, but again, there would be no Larastreamers without Steve. So Steve is again um, continuing with Teach Steve, and this one is about Sidecar. So let's see, when is this? In May. I might have to join this because I really want to know more about Sidecar. I've seen a few talks by Aaron about it, and I think it's just amazing. So yeah, this will be interesting. And then down here is just the one stream which I plan so that this list is never empty. Yeah, I thought it was just the easiest way for me to do this. Okay, so where do we start? Let me check the comments one last time. Oh yeah, we still have this little bug here. I think some of you told me how I could fix this. So why is my screen changing when I click one of the comments? I I think some of you already told me how to fix this. I don't know how I do it now, but please let me know. Yeah, Getje in Amsterdam was just amazing. Met so many friends again. It's just our beautiful Laravel community, which is amazing. And also being there, presenting on a real stage feels so much better than in front of the screen. Don't get me wrong, I still like this here, what we have here. And it's a little bit easier for everybody to join. But yeah, having things in real, standing in front of each other is just much better. Okay, all right. So let's go into the code here. So where do we start? Let's start with why I'm also talking about this. So there is this course which you already mentioned in the comments called Readable Php by Spasi and me together. We built this, and this is what it looks like if you log in. We have a lot of tips and tricks for you to write readable code. We see this in kind of written examples, like you can see here very beautifully. We show you what you can improve to make your code more readable, and then we also have videos here where you can see the icons, where we're going to show you something similar, more examples in a video form, which I did. So you will see me there. And yeah, overall, we have a lot of tips here grouped together by visual, naming, code structure, modern PHP, static analysis, Laravel. And it was very interesting for us to group all the things together because we know a lot about things that we like to do, how we like to write readable code, because we've both have been programming for quite some time and we both are very passionate about this topic. And it was really nice trying to find a way to bring this together in a product for you that is easy to consume for you. And that's I also think why we're very proud of this. Okay, so let's see some examples which I want to talk about. Naming. Let's start with naming. So there are a lot of things here about naming, but what I'm very interested in is always be expressive and be consistent. So mostly this is about being expressive, using names which tell you exactly what you're going to do. And we have also here some examples directly in Larastreamers, which I actually want to talk about. So let's bring this up here. We do have some console comments here. Here we go. All right, so you can see we have here a lot of comments, and all of the names are very long. So usually when I started writing PHP, what you learn is don't use long names. Use abbreviations, try to make them short, and I think this has changed for the whole PHP ecosystem or just for me, I don't know. But I have no issue at all having long names because more important for me is that it's easy to understand what's going on. And when we take a look at the names here, like here, check if live streams have ended comment. I think by reading this, you immediately have a good idea of what's going on here. And we could have used very different names, which are way shorter, but then probably you have to go into the class and check out what's going on. And that's exactly what I don't want to do. Damn it, I think I forgot my water outside. Okay, nevertheless. So I have no issues with long names, and being expressive, being able to immediately understand what's going on, I think is very important. And this is true for file names, for class names, for method names, for variables, for everywhere you have some names, that's important. And I think this also fits very well with the second thing that I also think is very important, to be consistent. Because here, when you check all the files here, you can immediately see, okay, here we have two commands start with import channels for streams, import channel streams. Then we have here two files here which start with tweet about. Actually, there are three of them. And then also we have three where we're going to update something. And the first one, check if. And I think this already helps a lot to give you some more context information about what's going on. So if I want to know what tweets we're going to send, if I see this file here, okay, I see we have already three different tweets. about live stream, upcoming stream, and then we also have the one which I send about the summary every week. So these are, again, all of the things that I'm going to show you, or also the ones are in the course, mostly are quite simple changes. They are not that complex. They're easy to understand. And that's also good because they're easy to use, easy to change in your code. But still, they will end up in a lot of benefits overall for your code base. Because you have to think about, especially in a project like this one, which is already quite big, every little change you have here and there comes together, and overall it will improve your project a lot. And I think that's also why readability and writing clean code has become very important to me. So I always think about how we can do things better. Okay, and this was about naming and being consistent. Let's check the next thing. So I think the next thing we have here, which we've also seen, which was it? Use, nope. I think maybe it's here. Yeah, that's what I was searching for. Conditional building up queries. So for me, it was also interesting because I wrote Larastreamers review together already before we built the course, and now I'm just checking which of the things that are in the course I've also already done in Larastreamers, and there are quite a few of them, which I think is pretty nice. So I was searching for this when method, and we're using this multiple times here. Let me check which file. Calendar controller. Here we go. And somewhere here we have been using this here. So this is about, maybe let's check again first, this simple example here. Every time we want to build a query conditionally, often happens. So if you maybe want to get some posts and then you want to check some variable first, and if this is given, then you want to change the query. And I'm pretty sure we all have written things like this already a lot. And in Laravel, you can use this conditional when method here, which we are also using here in Larastreamers. And here this is about, we are in the calendar controller where you can download the calendar, and you can also use a specific language for this. And if a language is given, then we want to only show specific streams for this specific language. And this means we can chain this now inside this whole code chunk here where we get all of our streams, and we don't have to stop the query, maybe save the query in a variable, then do our check and then move on. And I think that's a nice little trick, and every time we can chain those things, I think it's very useful because you don't get out of the flow. Because if you stop and you have a condition, then it feels like there are now different things happening. But actually, they belong together. At least I feel like that. So I think the when helper or when method when building conditional queries are very useful. Have you used them as well? Let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure you have already. Oh, Adrian is here as well. Hey buddy, how's it going on? We traveled together from Vienna to the Laracon EU. It was good seeing you. Oh, also hello from Barcelona. What's going on there? What's going on in Amsterdam? Was one of you in Amsterdam? Because yeah, we traveled back on King's Day, which is a national day and celebration in Amsterdam, where 1 million people traveled to Amsterdam. And yeah, we didn't realize that until it was already too late. And yeah, it was quite crazy getting back to the airport. And also at the airport, it was really crazy. But yeah, that's how it is. But still, we came back and we had no big issues and everybody's safe. So I think that's the most important thing. Okay, so this was about the when condition. Next one is about factories. And here we call this embrace factories. I've also done a video about this. And when we write a lot of tests, which we have done for Larastreamers, and I think which you should do for your projects. Then we also should treat our tests exactly as our normal production code, because yeah, it's just code in our project and there shouldn't be any hierarchy. It's code inside your project and we want it to be good, to be clean, to be expressive, consistent, and so on. And sometimes I see people treating the tests differently because maybe they think it's only tests and maybe they don't have to want to spend too much time on cleaning up tests. But for me, cleaning up tests is as important as cleaning up production code. And yeah, tests are also production code in that case, because yeah, it's code we write, it's code that we have to read, that your colleagues or your future self has to read at some point. So that's why it's very important. And there are some few very easy tricks which I think will help you to clean up and make your tests more readable. And one way is, of course, by using factories, which I hope you all already do. Just so useful. I'm just so glad Taylor refactored this to that, since that we have the new factors, which are way more easier to use. And here's an example where we create something, and inside the create method, we can add an array, which is going to override the default data of this user factory. But yeah, what I don't like about this is every time we use a string, we use an array, this isn't that readable anymore. Don't get me wrong, it is readable and it still is easy to understand, but all these little characters here, also the sign here of the array, all this ends up together to make it a little bit more noisy. I hope you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure you know what I mean. So it's like every time when you have a string or an array, this gets a little bit noisy. And what's pretty cool here with factors is we can use those factory methods and then we can just chain a specific method here. And then this method just tells me what we want to do. We want to get a user with a canceled subscription. Again, I always love to tell this. We are not interested in how we get this. We just want to know that we get this. And for me, this is true for every controller or every piece of code where it's like the first entry point of a specific class. Here we want to be very clear about what's going on. And we don't care that the field is called subscription cancelled at and I have to set it to now or something else. This is something that I'm not interested in when I check out this test. For this test, I'm only interested in that we have a user and that we want to cancel, have a user with a cancelled subscription. And the difference now is that we now have a method name here, which is just a name. We don't have any more parentheses or anything like that. We don't have any strings, and this makes it very good to read. I think that's also why we often refactor to use a method for some chunk of code, because method names are very good to read. Again, of course, you have to come up with a good name, which I think we did here. And we've done this lots of times in the Larastreamers code base. So let me check which I wanted to show you first. Approve stream action test. Approve. Okay, don't find it. Let's check out manually then. Approve stream action test. That's the one. Yeah, I guess that's already also the example which I wanted to show you. Here, what we're going to do, the action call does not import a channel if channel already given. So we have a good description here for our test. Then we're creating a new stream. When I check this code, I try to think in terms of, I'm now new coming to this test and I want to easily understand what's going on. So that's how you also should read this. So I'm creating a new stream with a channel. Okay, channel is a relationship to the stream. Maybe I know this, or I can assume this. I want this to be not approved. A stream can be approved or not, and then I want to create this. Of course, we could have also done this here by adding an array here and adding all the fields manually for this, but yeah, we can also use those state methods. Or to be clear, the not approved is a state method. And state because we are using the state method here from the factories, and we are changing one of the values of the, one of the streams we're going to change, where we're going to set approved add to null. So state is every time where we're going to change one of the default values. But we've also gone here a little bit further with this with channel method, and this is also something that I'm going to explain in our writing readable PHP course. I've called here this method with channel. And normally what we can do with factory is if we want to add a relationship, I could do something like for, and then provide here the channel and then create a new channel. And this is how I would add a relationship with the given methods of the factory. But I don't think they are always that readable. So I think this is very readable. So what I've done here, I've just created a new method inside my factory. It's just a method with a name with channel. And here I'm doing exactly what we could have done in our test as well. But yeah, I think this is way more clean than this, right? And that's also why I always say you don't have to use the tools given just because they are there. You can just wrap them in a method for yourself and create your own methods with a name that fits your project, your team, your company, your goals with the code. So that's why I really like this example, and I'm really glad I found this, because when I wrote the example, I didn't know that I did this in Larastreamers. But yeah, I've been using this, or we have been using this here on this code base. And yeah, this is just very readable. We want to be very explicit about what's going on here, and I think this will help us a lot. And with a lot of tests, which we also have here, a lot of code here, it's very important to try to make it as easy as possible to scan the code. Yeah, I like this a lot. So factories are a really good way to clean up your tests. So yeah, try to use the state factories, but also think about writing some custom code, because you are the one who have to maintain it, you are your team. So it's important to make it fit your needs and not the fit of everybody using Laravel in that case. Let's see, we have a question here. Is it also an idea to move the languages query to a scope? Let's check again. Yep, that's true as well. So for all those things here where we have kind of a chunk of part of our query which we could add to a scope, so we could call this approved sorted by language, filter by language. Yeah, maybe something like this. We are kind of filtering, and then inside the scope we could check it as well. I think it also could be a good idea. I think for scopes, I also try to make sure that I use the scope at least 2 times before I create it. Yeah, there are some cases where I also would create it for if we're only going to use it once, especially if we have some more code, more than 2 lines of code, then I probably would create a scope as well. But since this is not too big, I wouldn't create it here directly unless we're going to use it more than once. I guess that's a general rule. So extract things mostly when you're going to use it multiple times. If you're just using it once, then you probably don't have to do this, and then probably that's over engineering, but it also depends on the example and your needs. In this case, I would keep it like this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this code only one time here, but yeah, it was a good comment, because that's also a nice way to use scopes. Yeah. Yeah, but in this case, I wouldn't do it. But thanks, Rick. This was a very good comment here. So yeah, think about scopes as well. All right, so let me check the time. Here we're good, 25 minutes in. So these were the things that I wanted to show you, some of the examples that we already have implemented. And now let's see what we can change in Larastreamers. So today in the morning, I went through the code and thought about what are the things we can change to make the code more readable. And the good thing for me and not good for the stream is that I didn't found too many things. So it would be cool if some of you, if you have time, go through the code and see and find yourself if there are any things that you would improve. I'm pretty sure there are things we can improve, but I didn't find many. So that feels good, but not so good for the streams because I don't found too many things I want to show you, but there are a few. Okay, we're going to start. I have to check my notes here again. Approve action test. I think we've already been there. And here, let's check. Yeah, I think we're going to start here. So, of course, as always, before we change anything, let's run the test and see that everything is good. And yeah, so when I found this test here, I saw that we added here some data. And every time we're adding some data in a create method in a test, I'm curious about, okay, why do we do this? Because I only want to define it here, because if I don't define it here, it's still being created, it's just a default value. So if I define this field here, it must be important for this test. And that's why I always check, okay, are we checking against this email or what's going on here? And then I went through this code here and I didn't see that we're going to use this. Okay, so my first intention was maybe we just added it here, but we changed the code and then we don't need it. And then, so let's try to get rid of it, but now we're going to see that the code is failing. Okay, and this was curious to me, and yeah, it turned out there is a very simple reason for this. Because inside our, let me just check again what the name was before. Okay, let's get rid of this again. Because inside our stream factory, it seems like this field is a field which we don't have in our definition defined. And maybe that's the reason why we added it inside the test and then we forgot to add it here. So something very simple. We have to add this and we're going to use Faker here. Faker, use an email. We don't care what email it is, it just should be an email. And with this in place, let's test this. Yeah, now this is working. And this looks much better than before. So yeah, I think again, it's very important every time you define some specific data inside your test, like a specific field, set it to a specific value, there must be a reason for you to do this. Maybe you're going to check this later, it should be directly this, but sometimes, of course, you can also check it directly by checking what is the stream submitted email in this case. In this case, we don't have then to write a string ourselves because we get the field directly from the object. So yeah, make sure every time to check why you're doing this. And we have done this multiple times here. So let's try this as well. Test is passing. Let's remove this. And okay, all good. And yeah, you always have to think about if you don't get it right the first time, like we didn't because we forgot about it, there's a good chance this is going to stay forever in your code base. And every person coming to this code base sees this and probably thinks, okay, there must be a reason that this is defined here, and new people are mostly not going to touch it. And yeah, that's because when it will stay forever in your project, which could have happened to us as well, but yeah, because of the stream, because I checked it again, we can remove some code and it gets cleaner. And this is very important to me. And let's do this here as well. Still working, all good. Yep. All right. So what's next? Rechecked stream action. Rechecked stream action. Here we go. Oh yeah, I think here's just the same. get rid of this. It's working. Yeah, all good. Okay, very happy about this change because this is such an easy win. We don't need this. We can just get rid of this. Our tests are still telling us that everything is working. And yeah, this also tells us again how important tests are. Because if there wouldn't be a test, I wouldn't touch this at all. Because I just don't know if everything would still work as before. So without tests, I'm the one who created this, who wrote most of the code here. Still, I'm not confident enough to change code here if I don't have tests for that, especially after like 1 year or half a year where I wrote this. And you can now imagine every colleague of you, every other who's taking over the project, how should he or she feel comfortable changing some code if there aren't any tests to tell you that everything still works. So this every time shows me how important it is to have tests. And I'm really glad we have a lot of them in Larastreamers. Okay, what's next? Update stream action. Here, it turned out a lot of the things that I found are inside tests. And yeah, the same happened here. I came to this test here and immediately saw here, okay, we're passing in here a lot of data to the create method, where we create a stream before every test with the before each method. So for every side note, if you don't know, we're using pest here as a testing framework. That's why some of the things might look a little bit different than you used to from PHP unit. So this would be kind of a setup method in PHP unit where we're going to define some data like a stream, and the stream data which we then have access to in every of our tests here. And I then came down here and checked what we're doing here. And yeah, it turned out all the things that I've done here, I don't explicitly check them. And if you don't explicitly check, for example, that the YouTube ID is 1234, then this gets my attention. Why do we even put it in here? Because we have a stream factory. We're going to get default data by default. That's what it's there for. So yeah, my first intention was, okay, do we really need this, or maybe can we delete it? Let's try it out. Get rid of this. Let's run the test again, and oh, it's still working. So this means we got now rid of like 10 of lines of our code inside our test, and it's still working. So this must be, maybe we copied something here and then we forgot to change it or to test if we really need this. And yeah, I see this a lot in bigger projects. You're going to copy tests here or copy some action code or similar things. And then, yeah, if you don't write it from scratch yourself, then it's difficult for you to easily see right what you need and what don't. And I guess that's what happened to us here. So that's why this was not, that's why it was how it is. And then I came down here and I saw those tests here. And I immediately remembered, of course, the talk by Luke at the Laracon, where he was talking about PEST and expectation API and the higher order expectation API. And I thought to myself, oh, we could change this code here as well, because we don't have to write this every time where we are expecting something on the same stream ID. So I'm pretty sure at the time that I wrote this, could be two reasons. At the time that I wrote this, I didn't know about the higher order expectation API, or I wasn't that comfortable with it. Or the second reason could be that this was being created by Shift. We used Shift to create and move our test base from PHP unit to past, and maybe it could be that Shift did this, but I'm pretty sure Shift should now already be able to use this as well. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, instead of expecting the ID to be equal, I can get this outside of our expectation, and I can say that I expect our object, and then through the higher order method here can use ID to equal. And then, as you can see, this should still work, and it does. So this means I can now do this for all of the examples here. So I get rid of this here, and I think like this here. Oh, I forgot about the end of the line. I'm really in love with multiple cursor action. If it works, it's just so easy to change so much code. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. We're going to expect that our updated stream, which is an object, and then we're going to check all the specific fields to be equal to something. Let's refresh this, and yeah, you can see the tests are still working. And I was checking this in the morning, and I immediately saw that we could use this. I'm still. What do you think? How much better is this than before? I would say it is better than before, but also still, is it super, super readable? I don't know. For me, it's still, I don't know what I don't like about it, but I think it's, yeah, I guess in my head, I'm not yet fully satisfied that this is much better than before. I'm trying to think what I don't like about it. I think that now we have these chain calls here that it's also a little bit tricky to see that we get the ID through this, like this. I don't know, maybe I'm just not used to it that much. I think it's better for sure. Because what I like now more is that we are expecting the updated stream. So we are asserting something on the updated stream. And before this, we were making assertion every time on every line. And then I didn't really saw immediately that this actually belongs together. I had to check myself that every time we're checking something on the same object. So I like that this now tells me, here we are asserting this object. And then these are all things that we're going to assert on the object. Yeah, maybe I just need some time. Maybe it's also because of the color highlighting, because we're expecting something and then he highlighted every time is the to equal method. So that's the only thing being highlighted in those whole lines here. And actually very important to me would be to know what we are expecting. So what we are checking here, which is the thing here on the left. Maybe it's a code highlighter thing. What do you think? Do you think it's much better, a little bit better, not better at all? Let's check if you have an opinion about this. To equal would be a loose comparison to B. Okay, so this means we could be stricter here. Which I always like to be more strict. This doesn't answer my question, but oh, it doesn't. I guess it depends on what we're checking. If we're checking object, then this could be tricky. Oh yeah, here we are changing. We're checking carbon objects. I think in that case, the two equal would be better. And I think we're doing this somewhere here as well. Would this fix it? Yes. All right, but yeah, in general, I like to be more specific, so to be would be better here in this case, right? So again, what do you think about the changes here? Using the expectation higher order API, what do you think about this? Do you like this? Thumbs up, thumbs down? You don't know? Let me know about this. Because with some of the features from past, it took me a little bit longer to really like them, to get used to them. So maybe it could just be me taking some more time before I enjoy this. But yeah, I still think this could be better, but I don't know how. Let's see if you have an opinion about this. Please, as always, also like the video because this will help me and my YouTube channel because YouTube loves this. So I appreciate every like of the video. Since you're already here, I assume that you like it, or maybe you're just here because you don't like it. Then I'm sorry for you, because then you're wasting your time. But since you're here, yeah, I would appreciate a like as well. Okay, no comments so far about what you think about the higher order pests. So let's move on. Do we have anything else? I think that's already it from the things that I wanted to show you. Rick is a fan of the higher order expectation API. What about the rest? Okay, I'm really glad we changed this part here at the beginning, because this was really an easy and big win. Low-hanging fruits are the best ones. Easy to change, big output. Yeah. Okay, so I think with the things that I wanted to show you today, we already covered them. I might think about doing another stream about this topic, and maybe we find some more things that we could change, because I also thought about, we have here, where do we have this? Under app, services, YouTube, we have stream data. And here inside our stream data, which is kind of a data transfer object, we're also using this API, which I assume is by Sparsy. Yeah, of course. Of course it is. And here we have defined some constants. So maybe it would be a good idea to use now, since we're using PHP 8.1, an enum instead. So I guess this could be also refactoring, which could be helpful. This is also something that we cover in our product under modern PHP. So there are many things, many new features in PHP which also help you to write better code. I think one of my favorite one is the match operator. Where do I have it? Don't I see it? Prefer checking. If blocks with match, yeah. That's the one. I also created a video about this. So yeah, every time where you're checking. So in general, we like those conditions here because they are kind of early returns, they are abstracted, they are separated. So that's everything we teach you in how to deal with complex conditions. So in this term, that's good. But if you're only checking the same variable, like we do here, always checking the status, then the match operator is a much better option here, because we only provide it once, and then we say, if it is this, then we want to return this. And we also have here default option, so this means we also don't need this one at the end. So yeah, one of my favorite refactorings where we can use the match operator. And similar to this, of course, we could also use enums, which also have some benefits than using our constants. So maybe that's something that we're going to do in the next video. And maybe you also come up with things where you think we could improve in the code base, then we could also check this out together. Gretchen says, looks clean, but only used past once, so would have never known this. Yes, so was the same for me some weeks ago. So maybe you learned something today and you can try it out the next time yourself, and then let us know if you like it or not. But yeah, we see more and more pest every day. So yeah, pretty interesting in what's next. I also heard something about some secret project around pest. They didn't told me what it is about, but yeah, let's see what they are up to. Really interesting, because yeah, they are working hard on improving pest every day. All right, so let's go back here. So yeah, I hope today I could show you a little bit about the refactorings, or how we wrote the code in Larastreamers, which is already pretty good, how to make it more readable. And I always love when there are real examples. It's pretty easy to show it in a very simple example, but showing it how it's being used in a yeah, bigger project, it's always feels more real and probably helps you more with your projects because yeah, mostly you're not working in some kind of demo, you're working in real project. And yeah, that's why I hope showing you some of the examples from our course directly in a real code base was helpful to you as well. And yeah, by checking it myself, I also found a few things that we could improve together, which yeah, again, were very simple changes, but overall every simple change will help you in the long run with a project you want to maintain for a long time, which I hope I can do with Larastreamers. Okay, so I'm going to schedule a new stream. I'm pretty sure there are a few more things that we can find. Also, Freek and I are going to we're going to make a stream together about readable code. We already have some idea what we can do in the stream. It will probably be next week and it will be fun. So make sure to check this one out as well. And also what I want to mention today is the last day where you can get a release discount for our writing readable PHP. So yeah, today is the last chance. So if you feel like this is something that could help you to write better code every day, please give it a look. All right, one more time. Let me check the comments. Adrian is sure I will like past, and yeah, probably I will. All right, so I guess that's it for today's streams. We're keeping it slowly, not only for you, but also for me. Getting back into streaming, I want to do it more regularly again. I'm not going to promise you anything like every week because I don't know if I can do this right now, but yeah, I want to do some more streams. And yeah, please always like the stream. If you like it, this will help me a lot. Also tell me what you're interested about, write it in the comments if you want to stream me about a specific topic. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you had as much fun as I had. It was fun for me being back, and then see you the next time. Bye, everybody.